Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast on the category of Ancient Wisdom Demystified. Today's topic is the Great Flood. So, Tata, what is the Great Flood?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to again expand the particular title. The Great Flood. Is it history or a myth? You understand, history is a factual thing that happened sometime back, but a myth is a story.
Yeah.
So today, mostly it is believed to be a story.
A story.
But I would categorize it as a quasi myth because it is based on actually something that happened. But it is taken to be in most of the traditions. It's taken to be either a part of a sacred scripture or something which is a pure story. So to endorse that one, we will look what is the background.
Okay. So, what's the backstory behind this?
Yeah, when did it happen? That is a basic question that we need to, because if you take the various texts,
Yeah.
probably the earliest text which has been there around 3000 BC is the Sumerian account. It is called the Enuma Elish.
Enuma Elish.
Elish. It is a creation mythology of the Sumerians.
Okay.
And it is also referred in another great document where we have made the discovery through clay tablets called the Epic of Gilgamesh. So, the Sumerian story is the oldest story. But the same story is repeated in the Hebrew tradition of Noah,
Okay.
the great flood in the Old Testament. And it is also repeated, or rather it is also found in the Vedic story, Vedic mythology of the...
Bhagavad Gita?
No, it is found in Matsya Purana. So these three are all talking about the great flood.
Okay.
Now, how did it happen? Or what is the similarity?
Yeah, what is it? I guess like the water and the flood, obviously, right?
No, it's not that only. There are two linking factors. One is the place where these people lived. Sumerians, they were living near the Tigris-Euphrates river in current Iraq, which was Babylonia at that time, or Sumer at the time. It was called Sumer. Sumer was the southern portion where actually the two rivers meet and go into the sea.
Okay.
And these were the ancient people, the first civilization which was there. Then the Hebrew tradition is actually taken from that by Moses.
Okay.
Because Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Old Testament. They call the Pentateuch.
Okay.
He took that from that particular tradition because he was a very clever man and he had to control the 12 tribes of Israel.
When he was leading them across the desert?
Desert, yes.
Okay. Nice.
So there he gave this story to them with a man called Noah. God choosing him to be the next generation of people after the great devastation by the flood.
Okay.
And they lived where? On the Nile Valley. The Egyptian civilization.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is also subject to a great flood at some point of time in the past. I think we saw it in the last.
And
See, you can see the connection now. And here in India, the Vedic people, they lived in the Saraswati River, Indus River.
Yeah.
So Indus River Valley was a place where they lived. So all these are in the riverside civilization. And now you come back to what we talked last time.
Okay. Lasham's magnetic pole reversal.
That is one.
Younger Dryas days.
The Younger Dryas days. Very good.
Okay.
So Younger Dryas days around 11,000 to 12,000 BC is a time when you had this meteor impact.
Yeah.
And the ice shelf.
The comet, right?
The comet.
Yeah.
The ice shelf, which was there at that time, it collapsed because of the heat of the impact. And that led to a very great flood.
Okay.
So there is a historical connection. And at that time, the world population was very small. At about 10 to 12,000 years back, the world population was very, very small. So most people got killed. But a few survived. People who survived wrote the story.
Okay. Do you think they actually like got on a boat or something?
Yes, it could be, because if you look at the Enuma Elish, which I told you is the first document where you are having this information, Enuma Elish clearly says that there was a person called Utnapishtan.
Okay.
He was chosen by the god Enki, and he was secretly told the gods are planning to annihilate the whole
Okay.
civilization because they are finding that they are becoming more powerful than the gods, the creator gods. So the creator god and the absolute god are two different things in the Sumerian civilization.
Okay.
That we will see little, maybe in the coming episode, we'll see about the Sumerian civilization. So for this particular chat, we'll look at Enki.
Yeah, okay.
Enki was the guy who told. Who did he tell?
He told Supermesh, I forgot his name, but he told the guy.
Utnapishtan.
Utnapishtan, okay.
He told
okay.
Utnapishtan that, look, this is going to happen, and you have to get into a boat, build a big boat, take your wife, take all the animals and all that. Now you can see the relation to the
Noah,
Old Testament,
yeah.
okay? And now you can go and be ready, and when the flood comes, it will rain for many days. There will be lightning, storm, and after 7 days, then you will find that you will come to rest, and then you can build the next civilization. So the Noah and Utnapishtan are the same,
Okay.
people, are same alter egos of the two civilizations. And here in the Indian tradition, there is a Manu.
Manu.
Yeah, Manu is the man who is created or who is installed after the flood, and Manu was actually chosen by Vishnu in the form of a fish. That's why it's called Matsya Purana. Matsya means fish in
Okay.
Sanskrit. So here Vishnu comes in the form of a small fish. And this Rishi who is contemplating near the river, he rescues this fish in a small bowl, but the fish grows every day twice as big as
Yeah.
it was before. So it becomes so big that he could not contain it even in a very big vessel, in a big tank. So he thought this must be something divine. So he asked me, please reveal yourself to me. And then Vishnu reveals himself and said, I have come to save you from a great devastation. There will be a great flood. And there you will find that a very detailed description of the flood. So this is the three stories which is a linking between the great flood, which probably happened during the Younger Dryas days, and then the new civilization that came afterwards.
Why do you think they made these stories?
Why,
Is it just a historical account, or does it have like some hidden meaning behind it?
See, the historical meaning or historical event is only a, what do you call a geographical or a global event.
Yeah.
But the scale and the direction it was given in terms of writing in the scriptures was towards establishing a certain amount of information about your own spirituality. For example, if you take the Matsya Purana, there we talk about 7 fires.
Okay.
We talk about, the 7 clouds. 7 fires and 7 clouds are relating to nothing but your own body. You have 7 chakras.
Yeah.
So these are the energy centers. They are the 7 fires. So the quenching of these fires, first there is a fire. As a person born, as a human being, you have the fire in you. You have the 7 centers. Now, when do you quench this one? When you die. When you die, all the fires die down. That is the meaning of the complete dissolution of the human being. So this physical form is only a temporary form. Then a new man is created. This is why the rebirth was believed by the Vedic people. Most Eastern tradition believe in the rebirth. So there's another topic we can talk about much later about rebirth. But this is the story. So any other questions that you got?
Nah, not really. It was like really crazy to see all the connections between the Younger Dryas days and like stuff we read about, like in the Bible and stuff, you know?
Yes, it were to be very open about it and tell you, because all these things about the Sumerian civilization we found very recently in about 120,000 clay tablets over many periods by different scholars. Because when they took that, they didn't understand what was written there.
Like, when did they find out all of this?
It's starting from the 1800s only.
Okay.
Yeah. So last 200 to 300 years only, we have been able to discover all these things about the Sumerian civilization. And there are very nice YouTube videos on this one. You can see that one on Enuma Elish, as well as Epic of Gilgamesh, all that. Okay. I think this has been a very good conversation.
Yes.
We'll continue to, expand on it in the coming episodes. Thank you very much and see you all. Bye.
Bye-bye.